Vanessa. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm well, thank you.
That's great to hear. I'm so excited that you joined me today on the Resilient Voices of Refugees podcast. And I know it's been tough to get time for this, but I'm really excited that we really managed to, to finally meet and have this conversation. So thank you so much for joining me and for giving us your time. And I mean, I know you for a couple of years, and I know you've been doing a lot of great things, incredible work, especially in the refugee settings, trying to support girls and women. And I know if I am to introduce you, I won't do justice on who you really are. So I'll give you time to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more of who you are, what you do, and I mean, anything that you really wish to share.
All right. Thank you for having me. I am very glad to, amplify voices of refugees whenever I can. And this platform, I'm very sure is one that does that. So again, introducing myself, my name is Vanessa Ishimwe. I am based in Uganda, in Kyaka II Refugee Settlement is where I'm calling from today. And I run an organization called Fuse Women Initiative, just call it Fuse. It's formerly known as Authentic African Works, and our work is mostly in trying to create economic opportunities for refugee women in Uganda and hopefully someday across Africa. Part of the work that we do, we make high quality leather products that we use the funding or the money that comes from those leather products to send girls to school, but also create employment for the refugee women that we work with, sometimes who come to work with us with little or no formal education background, and which is like a form of way of giving them access to an employment opportunity without necessarily needing very high skills. So yeah, I've been an advisor for the Youth Advisory Committee for the Mastercard Foundation in WUSC on the DREAM project. I'm also part of the Refugee Advisory Panel for COHEA. I think I've done a lot of work in advocacy for refugee women, and also advocacy around education for refugees in the past. So that's basically mostly it. Yeah.
Wow, that's a whole lot, and I'll just say that I'm super proud of you, of the incredible work that you're doing, and like trying to work with different organizations. I'm just wondering, how did that start? Because especially for refugees, we're always not really complaining, but trying to say that there are no opportunities for us to participate. So how did you we'll come back on the business part of that, but how did you join maybe the Youth Advisory Committee team or working with COHEA? How did you start that?
So my journey actually in this space starts way before, I think, how many years ago? 12 years ago now? Like when I was 17 is when I joined hands with a couple of other refugee young people to create an organization that would then create access to education for refugee children. And from that we learned, because we were starting from really zero understanding of what exactly we were doing, but we tried to approach different people, different organizations, get our names out there, and with time we got to learn how to maintain relationships with partners and donors, etc. We volunteered in a couple of programs for us to be able to get into the networks of these different people. So it's within that organization that I met COHEA, because COHEA was a partner, still is a partner of where I formerly worked. And once I was nominated by one of their team members who had interacted with me during their work with us, and then I got to be part of their advisory panel to try and make sure that they are including voices of refugees within their work. Similar to the Youth Advisory Committee for the Massacre Foundation and WUSC. For it, I had met Delin, who was part of the Refugee Advisory Panel for Kohia as well, and kind of sent me the link to apply. I applied, got interviewed, and got into one of, the best community of youth advisors that I've ever been in. So mostly because of the work that we've been doing and my presence in this space, yes.
Yeah, I mean, what I got from what he said is that you really have to put effort in it. It's not something that just comes. As you said, you started very young at 17. I don't remember even what I was thinking when I was 17. And so, yeah, you have to put yourself out there and make good connections, networking. I mean, as you said, you get to know about the Youth Advisory Committee board, when you talk with Delin. So it's more on networking with people who are already doing, things with different partners or organizations. And so how did you start the business now, the Authentic African Works, which is now Fuse?
Yes. So when in the middle there, in all these 12 years, there was a time when I wasn't at school, but then I got a scholarship through the work that I was doing again, and went to a school that is called Cornerstone Leadership Academy. It is based in Uganda, and it was a fully sponsored education, but it was only senior 5 and senior 6, so A-level, not university. But then there was a program that would help girls go through like the 9 months as we wait to go to university. Some would go and make leather products. They would make leather products for them to be able to earn money. Then that money would be sort of equated or given them as a scholarship, part of the money that they would have worked for to kind of go to school. I did not go to that program. I went to a different other program, but a friend of mine who's been my friend since we went since secondary school went through that program. And when we left, when she went to university and I was waiting to go to university again because I did not have school fees for me to go to university at that point, I thought of something that would create an income for us. And I'm like, because that organization was making the products and they kept telling me about how they make these great products and how they are amazing, and how they are expensive and how they employed them. And I was like, why can't we do something like that so that we can earn a living in between here? We do not have jobs. We do have skills. We do have, a mind that can create these products. And just like that, I later got a scholarship, went to university, and I went to the same school as her. We were in the same exact dorm room, and I had about 5 other people, and from there we started making the first sandals. They were horrible, but we learned and we grew. We grew the business from there, and we realized this is something that can actually be beneficial not only just to us, because it sustained us our living expenses, at least during a university. And then we realized this could be something that can benefit the community that I come from, the refugee community, the refugee women, for them to earn a living without necessarily having very extravagant degrees and skills. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a very long journey. It's something that you first thought about, and then I can imagine of all the thoughts or all the people that you've tried to share the idea with. Was there some discouragement, of people telling you that, there's nothing that can come up, from this, or was it just flowing, or you just gave it time? How was the journey like?
Oh, there was a lot of discouragement. There was even a time I think I stopped in between because I started the business, and then somehow, because I was still working in my former organization and I had like a lot of work. If you worked in a startup organization, there is a lot of work there, and very limited resources. So for a brief moment, I stopped, and I remember people saying that I had failed to run the business. In a sense, I might have, because I couldn't juggle both things, but I had not stopped believing in the idea. I got some discouragement around how we are pricing the things, how we cannot grow it into being a real business, and etc. But there was also a lot of encouragement, and I think I got more encouragement. I am grateful for the encouragement that I get, because I get more encouragement than discouragement most of the time. People telling me that, giving me pointers, giving me feedback, telling me, hey, you need to package this way, you need to change the product this way, you need to add this, you need to remove this, maybe the price is a little bit too high, maybe the price is a little bit too low, maybe you need to change your marketing strategy. I got a lot of challenges, but also a lot of encouragement and a lot of support, again, from the community and the network that I had built, which is how the journey has been and continues to be right now. There is discouragement like any life experience, but there is a lot of encouragement and a lot of support, and especially from the people whom I've known, being in the space of working with refugees and in the humanitarian space and in the entrepreneurship space, etc.
Wow. Like you mentioned that even though there was discouragement, you never stopped believing, and I think that's something that we should really learn, to not stop believing. The fact that people are not understanding your idea doesn't mean that the idea is bad. It's just that you're just starting, and time by time you can do great things. And I know that it's common, especially not even in a refugee camp, but if people know you from the village, you grew up together, it's hard to believe that, Vanessa can do something that I can wear, So
Yeah.
How did you navigate that? How did you convince people that, this is a product worth buying? And I'm just trying to imagine, because I know even in my community, it's really hard for us to trust the services of the person who is from the same community. So how did you navigate that?
Yeah, actually, when you talk about that, I remember how much I think I would not allow someone who is my friend to treat me if they were a doctor. It's weird how we think about our immediate people, and yet they might be even the best person placed to treat me, because they know me, they know my lifestyle, etc. But about our business and convincing people, in the early years of the business, for us, we gave out a lot of free products for people to try and test, and then those products would be the ones that kind of market. Those other people would be the ones telling others that, hey, there is a shop there that is making these products. I bought this one from there and it hasn't. And we've gotten reviews from people that were early adopters, like early buyers from us, who have given us reviews of how long-lasting our products are, how beautiful they are, and how their brothers, sisters, family members are stealing them from them because they are so nice. And I think the convincing was done by the people that were early adopters and were early were convinced in early times of the business. Yeah,
I can imagine. And so like you had a lot of prototypes trying to, coming up with the design. I personally have bought some sandals from you, and they're really beautiful, and my siblings love them as well. And I can imagine how long it took you to come up to finally say that, okay, our products are, of a good quality. How long did it take? 1 year, 2 years to finally say that, oh, we think our clients are now convinced? Because I personally, now I'm convinced because I've bought the sandals and they're really of a good quality. So how long did it take you?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so glad. And those sandals, I still keep that photo that I took of you wearing those sandals. They look very good on you. I will tell you, for us to improve the product, I wish I could go back to the sandal that we first made and the sandals that we have currently. They're night and day. The first sandals were terrible. But then we kept improving them, and it took so many years, especially because we did not have, the resources to acquire maybe like professional trainers. All the things that we did, we taught ourselves. Even when my business partner, my friend, had gone through that school, all the things that they did, rather through that program that made leather products, all the things that they did there were with machines. But we do not have any machines. Well, we currently now have a sewing machine, but we do not still have any machines that cut, any machines that put the designs, any machines that make sure that the quality is like the products are smooth and engraved, stuff like that. So everything that they did was on machines. So we had to relearn how to do it with our own hands, with the available tools, like cut a shape with a scissor or with cutters. And it took years, not just, so this business hasn't just only existed for a year or two. I think we started in 2019 when I was joining a university, and we kept improving so 2019 to 2023, I was in school, we were both in school, and we were trying to improve it as we started. Learning from Pinterest, like seeing photos on Pinterest, and we're like, yeah, we can do that. Seeing patterns on YouTube, on the internet, researching every single day to make sure that the product that we are making is better. Sourcing material, something that also needs to be learned. We are at a point where we do have a good product. We are still at a point where we still need to learn more, because there is one type of product that we are making and we are making very well. There are other types of products that we are adding to our catalog that we are still learning about and learning how to refine and make better. And again, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of time to learn, especially with very limited resources. But we understand that we need to invest in the journey of learning and improving the product. Otherwise, people will only just buy something because they pity us, not because it's a good quality. And that is not how I want to market our products. I want them to be moved by the story of how we are supporting refugee women to get work, but I also want them to enjoy having the products that we make. So them being a good quality and high quality is not something to compromise on. Yeah.
Wow, that's really inspiring. And I think when they say that trust the process, that's what I mean. I mean, you really trusted the process, because from 2019 now we are in 2025. Yeah, like almost 6 years. I can imagine, how tough the journey was. But I also love the fact that you said, where we are, we are grateful because we have good quality products, but we also want to reach far. We don't want to just, be constant on where we are. And we've been talking about shoes. People might think that you only do shoes, but I also remember the last time you gave me a beautiful bracelet, which was really, amazing, with my name. And I was like, wow, this is creativity. And so do you plan to bring more products, or have you started working on other products? Is it just shoes, or which other products that you come up with?
So we are currently in the process of creating more products. Yeah, like the bracelet that you had with your name on it. We are making funny packs or just bags that you use to, like a small bag you use to put in your passport, your phone, your keys when you're traveling or just moving around doing errands. We have made bags before and wallets, like tote bags for women, and we've made laptop bags and wallets as well for men and women, key holders and different other accessories like earrings, necklaces. We are experimenting with different products according to what our customers keep telling us. Oh, and belts as well. We are trying to make belts as well, because many people see us working with leather and they're like, you must be making belts. And for a long time we weren't making them. So yeah, we get feedback from the customers, and depending on what is being demanded for by the market, we add it to our catalog. But yeah, we've added some of those different items there on our Instagram. You could see them. Yeah.
Oh, that's really amazing. I mean, I know it's a journey, but like from what you've been able to do, I have no doubt that, like in the future we'll see amazing products. And coming back to like the business part, I myself fear business. I'm telling you, like I fear taking risks. I don't know if that's a weakness, but I mean, sometimes I'm like, if I invest 200,000 and maybe I don't even get 100,000, So I know there are a lot of people who are like me, especially growing up in a refugee camp where resources are very scarce. And so like even the little money that I have, investing it in something, you're like, no, I would rather eat small and, sleep early. So like, how is it taking a risk when you were very young, you were, a girl, if I can say, and the community thinking about, what if they don't accept, my idea, or what if they don't buy my product? What really, what was something that pushed you to say like, I'm starting?
I think for me, like very many, businesses in Uganda, it rose out of necessity. Honestly, I had no other choice. In other words, like when I started doing this, the work that I was previously doing at 17 years, being an entrepreneur, trying to, create access to education for refugee children, in that moment, we had so many other projects that we were running that we intended for those projects to support the community, but also to support us, to support young people. And like I said in the beginning, I did not know what I was doing. But in 2019, by the time we had reached 2019, I had learned, to be resilient and to also calculate my risk, because entrepreneurship is, yes, taking risk, but calculated risk is very much more important than just rushing into it. So your fear of entrepreneurship is valid. It's valid. You could lose all your money, and entrepreneurship might be is definitely a very good way of changing the world. That is what I believe, changing the world, because it provides employment and it provides self-reliance. And also, if done well and you're blessed, thank God, you could achieve financial freedom. So to me, it has never, I started, I didn't know what it was. When I learned what entrepreneurship was and what it could bring me, I had no other choice other than just pursuing it with all my might. And these days, it's not even, I don't just risk, 100,000. Sometimes I look at money that I'm going to invest in marketing and I'm like, but what if we don't make that money back? The money that I invest in rent, and I'm like, this is too much money. Every month we are paying 1 million Ugandan shillings to pay rent, and sometimes we make that money back, sometimes we don't. There's times at the beginning of this year when we weren't making really even half of the rent, and it was just scary. It is a scary journey, but it's a very rewarding journey with time. As the business grows, as you learn, you adjust, you you adjust your marketing, you adjust your maintenance of the books and maintaining the production costs, amongst other things. So for me, it was never a thing like it's a project that is a hobby. It was out of necessity. And right now, I feel like it's the thing that I'm good at doing. There's nothing else I'd rather do than do this, run an organization, run a business, and create employment.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I love the fact that it wasn't just about you, because most of the times you think about me, myself. How is my future gonna be like? It's just about me. But from what I understood from you, it's like me, but the community around me. We can't always be dependent on donation. We can't always be, looking forward to being supported by charity organizations or other people who are, donating to vulnerable communities. So I think it was a risk worth taking, but also more on like how do we sustain ourselves and also the community around us. And so what are the challenges? I know there are a lot of challenges, but what are the key challenges that you look back, or even now you're like, wow, this really was something else?
So right now, I think mostly the challenges that we face is we operate in a smaller market compared, and I might be wrong, but that's what has been my experience in Uganda. There is the purchasing power isn't as high as other markets elsewhere. So at the end of the day, when making the products, I intend for them to get out of my site and be bought. And the market isn't that big, and possibly someone could argue marketing hasn't yet become as strong as possible. So there is also an issue around that. There is the issue that the economy in itself isn't big enough, or it's saturated with products that are cheaper than ours, cheaper in the sense of how much they pay for, but also cheaper in the sense of the quality and the material that goes into that product. And it's hard to compete with Chinese products, especially. And we are making similar products, similar being the keyword, because it's a different material, different kind of craftsmanship. A market, the competition that is in the market as well, saturated with the Chinese product. The other thing is being in a refugee settlement. Again, I still live in a refugee settlement. I still operate here. I still want to be able to create impact in this space. I could leave it, but I've chosen to stay here to, run business here so that it directly has impact to the people that I've grown seeing, the refugee people like myself. But being in a refugee settlement comes with the challenge that we have issues sometimes with deliveries, because most of our products go to Kampala. They're sold in Kampala or in cities, and delivering them there can be a problem. Sometimes they get lost on the bus. Sometimes we can't find the taxi, or sometimes we can't work around the clock to deliver the products for the customers. And also finding the right material, and not leaving out the fact that even when we are running a business that sustains itself somehow, when we need to scale, when we need to add more products, when we need to have a new shop, we need extra investment or capital for the business to be able to do that during that particular period of time. And it's limited. It's not very accessible, and that's something that many businesses face. So, some of those are our challenges currently and have been before. Yeah,
I mean, I can imagine, because most of the times, especially young people, we look at the product, you're like, okay, let me just buy this one for $10, and if I get rich, that's when I'll upgrade. But we rarely think about the quality. You're like, I mean, they look similar, so why would I spend more money on this? So I can really imagine how hard it is to navigate that. And also working in the refugee, I mean, it's sometimes when I say like a refugee camp, I don't think it's that unique to other common communities, because it's common that maybe if you're running an organization and you're supporting people, sometimes they assume that, oh, she's using us to get money. So like, have you ever met those cases where maybe you might have visitors, especially people who are not Ugandan, or who don't look like you, and sometimes people are like, oh, we are sure they have given her thousands and thousands of dollars. So how do you navigate that? How do you try to convince people that yeah.
I think what I try to do is not be frustrated with how many times people tell me that I have money, how many times people want to extort money out of me, thinking that I have it, when in fact, I don't know. But also there is a difference between me having money and the business and the organization having money. I could have money, the organization could have money. Money which in many cases is restricted on particular activities that is supposed to do, that I cannot just give them, that I cannot even take for myself, even sometimes not even get a salary out of. So what I try to do is to, usually people ask me, I tell them, I do not have that money. Do not think I am taking advantage of you. Do not think I'm taking advantage of, even the setup of our work really doesn't mostly bring about those kind of feelings. But whenever we are maybe taking photos for an activity and people are feeling a certain concern, I tell them, you are free to not allow us to take this photo. So we ask for consent, and such that you do not feel like we are using particularly specifically your photo to make money out of it. And sometimes sometimes you cannot even control what people think about you. So I try not to be frustrated about what they may think, because I could explain and explain and explain, and they may never get it. Like you said, we'll have people coming to visit us and with cars and all that, but at the end of the day, I'm still using my product from home to work. And then they'll be thinking that I'm just using a border because I do not want to spend money, but when I do not have the money in actual senses. So I try not to be frustrated, but I also explain whenever I can and take consent whenever I need to use any of their information in any way.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear, because I mean, I think it's a common challenge and sometimes you overlook it, but I think it's important for people, especially beneficiaries or the people we serve, to know that, I mean, we are not using you to get money. It's not about taking advantage of your effort. It's more on, like having impact and working together and grow together. And so how is it like running an organization as a woman? Because I know in some communities it's hard to trust women. I don't know why, but it's like the leadership of women is questioned in most of the cases. So I just want to ask if maybe like you faced any gender related challenge in running your business and organization.
I think for me, my experience has been that women are they have different experiences in leadership. And for me, my experience has been the fact that there is, like you said, there is sometimes lack of trust in women's leadership, and questioning why the whole organization is women-led. Why you call yourself women-led organization? Why is it only women? Why are you leaving the boys behind? I'm like, I do not understand the boys' challenges. I understand the women's challenges, and hence why I'm walking around women's challenges. Even the women's challenges, I do not fully understand all of them, but at least I can relate as a woman, and hence trying to create, solutions for women, for myself, and for other women. So the challenges have, for me, specifically as being a woman, is just being sort of dismissed or questioned, and questioning your ability to actually move forward, your ability to be sustainable as an organization, because they'll be like, you get married and you leave with the thing, or you will, once you have children, you won't be able to do this as you do it. And it's possible I won't be possibly able to, run around or to conferences the past few years of my children's lives. But also what says that I can't set systems as a woman that would allow me to be able to delegate that work during the time when I don't know, I'm taking care of my children or something like that. So, but generally, I have, as an individual, I've always been a little too strong-willed. I do not allow people to bully me. So, but that's a challenge. Leading as a woman can be very, very challenging for me and for other people, especially people that have children. I do have people that I take care of. I do need sometimes to call in support to take care of the people that I take care of at my home. Like whenever I have to travel, whenever I have to go to a conference and I need to network again, fundraise, or go to an exhibition or something like that, I need to delegate my house responsibilities to somebody else. And that in itself can be a challenge. I sometimes can't just wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a conference at 8 a.m. I'm just going to wake up at 4 a.m. and move. I have to think about my family. Who is going to keep them? Do I have a house help? Are they eating and stuff like that? So yeah, it's not, like I said, because I do not allow people to bully me, it's not so much big of a deal right now, because even people have learned to respect me, not just because I'm a woman, not to pity me, but to respect me for the work that I do and the insight that I bring to the table. Yeah.
Wow. I think I love the fact that you mentioned about knowing your worth, knowing what you're able to do. Like people might not stop questioning about your leadership, but the outcome doesn't give them any other option than trusting you and respecting you, as you said. So it's more on like, how do I position myself in a way that people don't trust me because of who I am or my gender or, whatever they can consider, but what I'm able to bring on the table. And I mean, that's something that everyone should really learn and be like, even when they can't trust me, at least they will trust my work and the output that comes from it. Yeah, so just wrapping up, you mentioned about, how you got the chance to connect with different change makers, if I would say, but also connecting with different organizations that are supporting refugees and young people in general. And so I want to understand if maybe that part of your journey has played a role in your organization or has helped you throughout the journey leading that initiative.
Yeah, I think it's not, I would be lying if I said I did not need help and I did not get help from the communities that I joined, from being part of the Andisha Prize during the time that I was, the Andisha Prize, it was in 2018, which is a program or a prize that celebrates young, very, very young entrepreneurs on the African continent. The network that I gained from there taught me a lot of things, got my our work by then visible, which got me into different places, into different rooms as well, which then led again to me knowing other people. And I think for me, I would say I would have not been able to lead the way I did, or to sort of grow the business or grow the organization without having the networks that I have built. Because they come with visibility, they come with credibility, actually building credibility, they come with trust. People trust you because someone else trusted you. People trust you because they've seen an article about you, and African Leadership Academy with their Anzisha program and the Anzisha Prize, they were very good at writing stories about us. They still are very good at writing stories about young entrepreneurs. Boost support with funding, with the research that we did. Maybe briefly say a little bit about that. The different individuals that connect me to, like, working with Delene, having met her on the Youth on One Refugee Advisory Panel, and now we were on another together. So they come with connections, they come with funding as well. It comes with a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge and feedback that helped me grow. So I think I am the summation of the experiences that I've learned from the networks that I've built over the years. And that is what has led to me leading the way I lead, and for my business and my organization to run the way it does.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a very important thing, visibility, of which not so many of us care about or value. Sometimes people think that it's showing off, but I think it's more of now the current world that we are living, it's digital, So if you don't, if nobody speaks about you, no one is gonna know what you're doing on the ground. So I think it's important that people really care about, of course, not sharing everything, but if you get an opportunity to meet like those already established organizations to amplify your voice, I think that really helps. As you mentioned, if nobody have trusted you before, how can I even take the risk of trusting you, but if they see that, oh, Vanessa has been with WUESC, have been with Cohere, have been with this other organization, I mean, they can't question about you because these are already a trusted organization. So thank you so much for really highlighting that. And just reaching to the end, what kind of message would you give to young refugees, especially women, who are in this situation of thinking that, oh, it's not possible, I don't think business is for refugees, especially women? What kind of message would you give to them?
I think I would tell them to bet on themselves. Bet on yourself. You won't know whether it won't work if you don't try. And if you try and it doesn't work, it's okay. You still have your life. You walk away with your life and you're able to try again or try something new. So it's very scary to lead, to run a business. But I think the world is in itself a risk. I keep telling my friends that waking up in itself is a risk. You risk, tripping over your bed. You risk falling in the bathroom when you're showering. You risk dying out of, whatever a car could knock you. But it's important to, find something that you really, really care about and do it. If you wanted to run a business or run an organization before and you're scared and you're afraid of failure, maybe you will fail. But if you do fail, you will have lessons. You will have not completely failed because you have learned a lesson. And you will have at least known. And the next decision that you make will be informed by the lessons that you've learned from your failure. And who knows, you could succeed. Actually, you will succeed. And you will be happy with yourself that you tried and that you betted on yourself and that you conquered your fears. And I would say go in afraid, go in scared, go in incomplete, go in and not without knowing it all. And you'll thank yourself later.
Yeah, that's really empowering and very powerful, because as you said, if you don't start, you won't know how hard or how easy it is. So like all the questions that we have can be answered if we only start. So that's the that's the answer for, like those people who are scared to start business.
Yeah.
And just the last question, any message to stakeholders who are scared to invest in refugee-led initiatives, maybe because of the past experience they have invested in a business and people used the money to buy food or clothes, or they just, use the money for their own benefits? What kind of message would you give to the stakeholders?
I think I am a testament to, having being trusted, like, so refugees being trusted and like proof that they just amazing things that can come out of it. I may not be, providing employment for 1 million people, but even the 10 that I employ, their lives are made better because I decided to create this business and I decided to create this organization. So while they are individuals, not just in the refugee space, they are everywhere. And that's something that needs to be talked about more and demystified. People who will eat your money exist everywhere. They are human beings. It's not just refugees. Being a refugee does not automatically make you somebody who is going to eat somebody's money or their investment instead of using it for the right purpose. But it's important for them to trust that we are human beings as well as them. We have dreams and goals. We aspire to, be better and better our communities. And we provide a lot of insight, a lot of solutions, and we are best placed to actually, create solutions for our very communities that in many cases are suffering. So it's a very rewarding journey, but also not just rewarding in terms of feel good for the people that support with financially, but also it can be very profitable. If you, for example, the people who invest in aquaculture in refugee camps, because they're based in rural areas where in some areas, there are some which are very, very arid areas, which are very hard to cultivate in, but the ones that are able to cultivate in, grow, have rare animals, etc., it can be very profitable as well. So it's not just about the feel good, which is also good. It is very fulfilling, but it can also be profitable. And I think they shouldn't fear to work with us, because at the end of the day, we are human beings that are smart, that are able, that have visions and dreams and goals, and we can contribute to the development of our communities as well.
Yeah, I love the fact that you mentioned about these assumptions of, like if you're a refugee or if you're from a rural community, if you give your money, you eat the money. I think refugees shouldn't be entitled on that. And I just want to highlight that there are even big organizations, not grassroots or local organizations, that eat money or don't use the money in what they have requested the fund for. So I think that was a great clarification. And when you talked about, the impact that you've done and other refugees have been able to do, it's not tokenism. It's something that is tangible. It's something that we have seen and other partners have seen. I mean, just a recent research that you and Delene made on women refugee-led organizations. We were the witnesses of the event that was carried out in Uganda. I saw how women are driving changes in their communities. Some are in business, others are leading schools, others are doing a lot of things, agriculture, art, fashion. I mean, it was just wonders. So I feel like it's important that people recognize that, yes, there are those people who don't use maybe the money in what it has been given to be used for, but there are also those people who are able to turn that small amount into a real impact solution. So thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, I would really say that it was amazing to have this conversation with you. And I think we've got a lot of opportunities to meet in person here and there in conferences, trying to amplify the voices of refugees. But it's the first time to take, time and discuss about this, especially business and running an organization. So it was really a great honor for me to learn more about your journey. I mean, you inspired me. And I'm sure that even people who watch this later will really be inspired. So thank you so much. And I hope you also enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, I did. Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me the platform, because like I said, I value, like we said, visibility is very key. I value visibility. There is a network that you have that I'm pretty sure is going to watch this video and know about my work. So thank you very much for giving me the platform, and thank you for constantly being a voice, an amplifier of refugee voices. And I do hope this podcast, the work that you're doing, the work that I'm doing, the work that we are all doing can be something that is commendable, something that changes and gives more opportunities to other refugees like ourselves. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I just remembered something as I was about to say bye. You mentioned that I know like your organization is going through like rebranding and all those stuffs, but then what's now the current name of your organization, so that maybe if people can go on Instagram or LinkedIn and find you there?
So it's Fuse Women Initiative. Just that, Fuse. You should be able to see us on LinkedIn, Women Initiative, Instagram, Fuse Women Initiative, our website, www.fusewomeninitiative.org. Yeah, everywhere else is Fuse Women Initiative.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. And yeah, people who watch this, make sure that, you support this initiative because it's not about supporting Vanessa. It's about supporting those girls who want to go to school, boarding school, and, get scholastic materials, school fees. So when you buy one sandal or two or three, know that you're indirectly, making someone go to school. So I hope you do that, and you have a great day, Vanessa. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.